The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are having a down year statistically by all means necessary. Travis Kelce's probably having the worst season of his prime. And it just does not seem like this Kansas City Chiefs team is meant to win a Super Bowl. Yet here we are. They are 13-1, and they are probably a game or two away from clinching the 1 seed in the AFC. Let's talk about what makes this team so successful and why I think that they're primed to win yet another Super Bowl. For starters, in Mahomes' career, he is 50-22 in one-score games. It's the second highest in NFL history. He's won 69% of them. That's the win percentage there. 50-22 is 69% of those games are victories for the Kansas City Chiefs. We can't find success like that in the league today, including 8-0 in one-score games this season. Now, of course, we can break down almost all of these one-score games, like the beginning with the Bengals, the PI that gets called that wins the Chiefs the game, or the Raiders fumbling there at the end of the game instead of kicking a game-winning field goal, or the Broncos having their game-winning field goal blocked, or just this past week how the Browns just gave them interception after interception. I get it. I know the Kansas City Chiefs have gotten lucky, and team stats prove that as well. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 in the NFL in luck this season. But to me, you cannot apply that holistically to a team that has done this on such a large scale over the last 6-7 seasons. And so back to my main point, Mahomes is having a down year. Travis Kelce has obviously started to look more and more washed as the season goes on. Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco all go down with injuries, most of them very significant, missing more than half the season, but yet the Chiefs continue to win these games. Now, situationally, this is probably the most efficient team and franchise, and I want to dissect those two. As a team, they are number 1 in the league in third down conversions. I want to credit Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid for that, and obviously Travis Kelce as well. We've seen multiple third downs over the last couple of games where it looks like the Chiefs are going nowhere and Travis Kelce yet again bails them out. But as well as this third down percentage, they are number 5 in time of possession. This isn't a team that's going to burn you over the top. They're not a, yards per or points per play team. They're not that efficient, but they know how to get long sustaining drives to keep the opposing defense on the field. They're number 3 in penalties per game, which could not be said from last year's team. I think the offensive line has improved dramatically. They are known for false starts penalties, holding penalties, and they've done an excellent job of this year keeping those limited. I think they only average like 5.7 penalties a game, which is phenomenal and shows that this is an organization that knows how to win a buttoned-up way. They don't beat themselves. The only time that the Chiefs lost this season is when Josh Allen began to make his MVP case, beating them in in Buffalo. Great win for Josh Allen. But if you look at the Chiefs' resume, and that's the one loss, this is a great season for Kansas City. On the defensive side of the ball, unbelievable yet again. They are number 3 in the NFL in rush defense. They're number 5 in scoring defense. Their pass defense is not as good as it was last year. You can credit that to a couple of DBs leaving in the offseason. But situationally, this team knows how to win football games, and that's why they're 13-1. Now, looking at this as a team. Let's look at this as a franchise. So, like I said earlier, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, all are going down with injuries this season. Yet, the Kansas City Chiefs know exactly what to do and respond by signing Kareem Hunt, a guy who was not on a football roster to start the year, and DeAndre Hopkins. They trade for him from Tennessee, a guy who has not shown you that he can be a top-level receiver since probably his days with Arizona a couple of seasons ago. A guy, obviously, on the back half of his career. Yet the Kansas City Chiefs turn him into a very usable asset. When thinking about where this team was last year, with guys like Sky Moore and potentially Kadarius Toney being major contributors to the wide receiver group, the fact that they have DeAndre Hopkins now is just a testament to how good this franchise is run right now. The Hunt family has done an excellent job making sure that this core has stuck together. I don't like glazing teams and giving them their flowers when they don't deserve it. But the Chiefs have yet again done a beautiful, beautiful job of taking a team capable of winning a championship and bolstering them even further, getting them through the hard parts of the season. If you want to know how to run a sports franchise like a professional one, and by professional, I mean championship winning one, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. You sign Mahomes to this massive contract early. You pay him $500 million. Even some people back then debated whether or not that was a good idea. Now look at this quarterback contract. It is an absolute steal. I think Mahomes is the 10th or 11th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I mean, and he's the one that's winning MVPs and Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs. And so you can afford to pay guys like Isaiah Pacheco, like Travis Kelce, like all your star defensive players. Not to mention, this team has drafted so many gems on top of their main leader in Chris Jones. Middle linebacker Nick Bolton is one of the best in the league, in my opinion. You can't keep everybody. I get it. Tyrann Mathieu had to leave a couple seasons ago, but you keep the core intact and they can continue responding by winning football games and bringing in these contributors throughout the season and catching them up to speed. That is what makes this system run, and that is why the Kansas City Chiefs are primed to win yet another Super Bowl. Can they do it a three-peat, the first one in real NFL history? I'm not sure. I mean, this is an almost impossible feat. I think that if you do, you got to start talking about GOAT status for Patrick Mahomes. Not necessarily this season, but going forward. Will he end up being the GOAT? You could very easily argue that if he wins the three-peat. Travis Kelce could potentially be the tight end GOAT. A lot of people already think that he is there. Chris Jones has had one of the greatest defensive lineman careers in NFL history. To pair that with winning yet another Super Bowl, he gets into some all-time status conversations. This team has done beautiful, beautiful work over the last 4 to 5 seasons, winning multiple Super Bowls in different forms and fashions. This Kansas City Chiefs defense has not always been the greatest. They have really stepped up when the offense needs the most. I don't necessarily think that they can carry that way through to a Super Bowl, but it's more possible now than it ever was before. And so to wrap this video up, I'd like to say that Patrick Mahomes has not done, quote unquote, enough to put himself in MVP conversations this year. He's just like LeBron James, though. Even though he's not putting up the stats that some of these other guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are going for right now, you would still take Patrick Mahomes easily over any of these other quarterbacks that we're talking about. Same with Andy Reid. Everybody is in love with Dan Campbell. I personally have done a in love video with Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings right now, but there's nobody else in the NFL that you want to have with 2 minutes left in a divisional playoff game with you having the ball than Andy Reid himself and Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. So with all that being said, the Chiefs have done yet again another masterclass going on the road to a very tough defense, putting up 21 points in a creative way and having their defense lock down a Browns offense that was scorching last week. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.